October 2nd, 1872, London is buzzing. Not with the usual city clamor, but with a scandal that has gripped every corner of the capital. A shocking £55,000 have vanished from the Bank of England, and the audacious thief has disappeared without a trace. The newspapers are having a field day, speculating wildly. Who could have pulled off such a daring heist? But inside the prestigious Reform Club, another conversation is brewing, one that will soon eclipse even the Great Bank robbery. Here, among the city's most influential gentlemen, the topic isn't crime but progress. The world, they say, is shrinking. New railways are slicing through the jungles of India, the magnificent Suez Canal has connected seas, and powerful steamships are conquering the oceans faster than anyone thought possible. Amidst all this excited chatter sits one man, Phileas Fogg, a creature of absolute habit and unshakable calm. He plays his game of whist, his face a perfect mask of indifference. Nothing, it seems, can ruffle Phileas Fogg. He is a man of routine, a man of precision, a mystery wrapped in a gentleman's suit. But on this particular afternoon, a single, bold statement will ignite a spark in his quiet world. One of his companions, Mr. Ralph, puts down his cards with a thoughtful sigh. The world is getting smaller, gentlemen. One might soon travel around it in a matter of months. Another member, Andrew Stewart, lets out a hearty laugh. Months, you're far too generous, Ralph. With all these newfangled steamships and railways, I'd say 80 days, perhaps even less. The table chuckles at the absurdity. 80 days. It sounds like a fantasy. But the words hang in the air, and for the first time that afternoon, they catch the attention of Phileas Fogg. He slowly raises his eyes from his cards, his gaze steady and clear. In his quiet, measured voice, a voice that never wastes a syllable, he speaks. 80 days, he says simply. It can be done. The room falls silent. Stewart turns to him, incredulous. Done. Nonsense. You can't possibly travel around the entire world in just 80 days. It is impossible. Fogg's reply is as calm as it is firm. On the contrary, he states it is entirely possible, and I am prepared to prove it. The other men lean in, their card game forgotten. The air crackles with sudden tension. This is more interesting than any hand of whist. You're serious, Fogg? Someone asks. I never speak otherwise. Then explain yourself, demands Stewart, his voice sharp with challenge. How could this man, who lives his life by the second hand of a clock, even entertain such a chaotic idea? Without a moment's hesitation, Phileas Fogg pulls a small, meticulously kept notebook from his pocket. He opens it to a page filled with neat columns and precise calculations. It isn't a guess, it's a schedule, an itinerary of the entire globe. He begins to read, his voice steady, reciting the journey as if it were a mathematical proof. London to Suez by rail and steamer, he begins 7 days. The men listen, captivated. Suez to Bombay by steamer, 13 days. Bombay to Calcutta by rail, 3 days. He continues, his voice unwavering, tracing a path across the globe. Calcutta to Hong Kong, 13 days. Hong Kong to Yokohama, 6 days. Yokohama to San Francisco, 22 days. San Francisco to New York by rail, 7 days. And finally, New York back to London by steamer, 9 days. He closes the notebook, the final calculation hanging in the air. Total, exactly 80 days. For a moment, there is stunned silence. The sheer audacity of the plan is breathtaking. Andrew Stewart is the first to recover, scoffing at the neat figures. You forget everything that makes a journey real, he protests. You've forgotten storms at sea, train derailments, unforeseen delays, accidents. You've only counted the minutes on a timetable, not the unpredictable chaos of life. Phileas Fogg looks at him, a flicker of something unreadable in his calm eyes. Accidents. He repeats, I never plan for accidents. A true gentleman does not waste time on imaginary delays. The routes exist, the ships sail, the trains run. The journey, he concludes with absolute certainty, is possible. Impossible, Stuart mutters, shaking his head. Even if you manage to reach India on time, the rest of the world will surely defeat you. The plan is a fool's errand. At this, Phileas Fogg calmly places his playing cards face down on the table. The game is over. A new, much grander game is about to begin. He looks directly at Stuart. Shall we make it interesting? The men exchange glances. The atmosphere in the club has shifted from a casual debate to a high-stakes confrontation. Stuart narrows his eyes, suspicious but intrigued. What do you mean by that? He asks. I propose a challenge, Fogg announces, his voice as level as ever. I shall travel around the world in 80 days or less. If I fail, if I am even a minute late, I will pay you £20,000. He pauses, letting the weight of his words sink in. If I succeed, you will pay me the same. A collective gasp ripples through the group. £20,000. In 1872, that was an astronomical fortune. It was half of Phileas Fogg's entire wealth. To risk so much on such an impossible journey was either the act of a genius with unwavering confidence or a complete and utter madman. Stuart is speechless for a moment, then forces a disbelieving laugh. You're jesting, Fogg. You must be. Not in the least, Fogg replies coolly. He looks around at the other gentlemen, his gaze challenging each of them. Shall we say the challenge is accepted? One by one, drawn in by the sheer spectacle of it all, the men agree. A contract is quickly drawn up and signed. The wager is official. The impossible journey now has a price tag. Mr. Ralph looks at Fogg, his expression a mixture of awe and concern. When will you leave? Phileas Fogg checks his pocket watch, a gesture as natural to him as breathing. Immediately, he declares, Today is October 2nd at 8:45 this evening. I shall take the train to Dover. I shall return here, to this very room in the Reform Club, on Saturday, December 21st, at this exact hour. Gentlemen, mark your calendars. With that, Phileas Fogg stands, gives a slight bow, and walks out of the room, leaving his companions staring after him in stunned silence. The journey that would captivate the world had just begun. Could one man, armed with nothing but a timetable and an iron will, truly conquer the globe in just 80 days? Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If you're as fascinated by this incredible wager as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along, because Phileas Fogg's adventure is just getting started.